Let us now take a closer look at assets and liabilities, starting with liabilities. A liability is established when one unit, the debtor, is obliged under specific circumstances to provide funds or other resources to another unit, the creditor. Normally, a liability is established through a legally binding contract that specifies the terms and conditions of the payments to be made. Typically, these liabilities are the result of the provision of economic value by one institutional unit, the creditor, to another, the debtor, normally under a contractual arrangement. Liabilities can also be created by the force of law, for example, penalties arising from commercial contracts or the liability to pay taxes. Lastly, liabilities can be created by events that require future transfer payments, such as claims on non-life insurance companies or claims arising from the winnings from a lottery. Usually, liabilities and their corresponding financial claims are explicitly identified by formal documents expressing the debtor-creditor relationship. However, because we record the economic substance of events in macroeconomic statistics, sometimes we must impute a liability to reflect the underlying economic reality of a transaction. An example of this is the creation of a notional loan when the asset is required under a financial lease, because the lessee became the economic owner of the asset, as is often the case with the planes of an airline. Whenever a liability exists, the creditor has a corresponding financial claim on the debtor. A financial claim provides benefits to the creditor, for example, by acting as a store of value or by generating interest or dividends or holding gains. For instance, one can buy a government bond in order to receive interest income, or buy shares in a company with the expectation that its value will increase and to receive dividends. From this, we can say that financial assets in a macroeconomic balance sheet consist of all financial claims that a creditor has on its debtors. Conventionally, we also consider as a financial asset gold bullion held by monetary authorities as a reserve asset. Financial assets, and thus liabilities, can take many forms, and we group them in macroeconomic statistics according to the type of financial instrument they belong to. These are some of the types of financial instruments we can distinguish: currency and deposits, loans, debt securities, pension entitlements, equity, financial derivatives, and other accounts receivable and payable. We can also group financial assets and liabilities according to the sector to which the counterparties to these assets and liabilities belong. All economic assets that are not financial assets are non-financial assets. At the highest level, we subdivide non-financial assets into those that are produced and those that are non-produced. Produced non-financial assets are fixed assets, inventories, and valuables. Non-produced non-financial assets are land, mineral and energy resources, other naturally occurring assets, and intangible non-produced assets. In summary, we record stock positions of financial and non-financial assets as well as liabilities in a balance sheet. The difference between total assets and liabilities is the institutional unit's net worth.